works himself back into the lineup with thunder. Torres drives it. Deep left center field. Taylor back near the wall. It's out of here! Flores ends it with a home run! He struck him out! It has happened! In their 51st season, Johan Santana has thrown the first no-hitter in New York Mets history.
Had to use that intro because, the New York Mets, they keep rolling. The New York Yankees, a tough loss last night in NHL free agency. That's what you're going to be hearing today on WHBC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHBC. I'm Anthony, joined by Michael Merlo.
This intro, not it.
Wow. Even for the Amazins, not you?
No, listen, I love...
But to be fair, I made this beginning of the season. Before anything happened.
I love the concept.
I think there could be some copyright issues too, but we won't go into
We don't have those, apparently. We're not commercial. We don't have those.
Oh, okay.
The song, the way it just, I don't know. I'm not a fan. The way...
This is literally the first intro I ever made ever, so forgive me on that.
I'm sorry. I didn't know it was you. That's number one. I thought it was Justin.
No, it's okay.
But it actually doesn't sound the quality of Justin's intro.
That's fine. Justin wasn't here.
That's
I had to
a
do something.
shot.
No. I'm okay with it. I'll take the criticism for the next one. That's fine.
I just the music needs to be louder. It needs to hype you up more.
Well, Anthony made it low. That's the thing.
No, the quality of this sucks. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm in a good mood. I'm in such a good mood
You really
today.
sound like it, Mike.
I am. Oh my god.
We have Dominic Arbolino waiting patiently for Lou Lamoriello to let him down again.
Possibly, yes. I'm preparing for the worst, hoping for the best, though.
Ross Levine, who misses Frank Vetrano.
Yeah,
very much.
I miss him. I still do.
Though he got way overpaid in Anaheim.
Well, he was good for the Rams in the playoffs, so I'm worried that we're going to take a step back because we lost him.
And Matt Leonard, who seems pretty, low energy for a big Mets win.
You're
and that's not a callback.
Wait a minute.
That's not a callback. I'm just saying.
You're riding the low energy train now. Okay. Levine and Deus. Okay. As far as the Mets win goes, this is fantastic. I'm glad they won as well as they did to, not quite a blowout, but to put up 7 runs against the Braves is amazing. Especially after the way you performed in the first two games.
They blew the Braves out today.
You think 4 runs to blow out?
Listen, those last 2 home runs
were Drew Smith being Drew Smith.
And for as well as a team as the Braves are, you have 7 runs against them. You're going to take that any day.
It was that was impressive. First of all, you faced 3 of their better pitchers.
Yep.
Morton, who was not good today and hasn't had a good total season. His last 5 starts has been unbelievable. And to do that against him, and he usually pitches well against the Mets since he's gotten to Atlanta, that's number 1. Number 2, to do it without 2 of your All-Stars, McNeil and Marte, for a team that's been struggling offensively, yeah, that was huge. That's huge. Huge.
And even look at who was batting cleanup. Louis hits 1 home run, and now he's playing in the cleanup spot. Good for him.
Louis had one of his career that home run. Fourth. Okay.
I really believe that Buck Showalter and the Mets need to find a way to get Guillorme into the lineup every day. I remember we on a Tuesday show a couple weeks ago, Michael was a little conservative of that because you don't want to play him every day. He might not perform. It's situations, but I don't know. I think he's proving that he needs to be an everyday player.
Right now he is. The series that he just had, he was big time. He had 2 doubles. He hit the home run. He had a couple singles. He was great in this series against Atlanta.
Dom, are you saying this because you spent 100+ on his jersey a few weeks ago?
No. I've always been a fan of Guillorme. And yes,
I love the guy. I don't know about cleanup every day, but I love the guy.
No, I wouldn't go with cleanup every day, but I think you definitely got to get him in the lineup every day. And I was saying that even before his offense really was rolling. I think his defense shows a lot too.
Yeah.
You went down to Atlanta and you got what you needed to do. A sweep would have been nice, but realistically, that wasn't going to happen.
Come on, I thought they were winning Monday, and that was going to be it. That's how I felt.
You should be ecstatic. You're hoping to get Marte at least back against the Cubs and McNeil. It depends with the paternity leave, but...
No, they had the baby. He's coming back, hopefully.
Okay, hopefully.
He better be back. 3 days, come on.
Oh.
They fell back in Chicago for crying out loud.
Man, look at you criticizing fatherhood.
No, congratulations. Clap for you. Congrats to the wife. Congrats to the family. You missed a huge series. Can you get back now, please? Because this is a trap series against the Cubs.
You won the series, though.
I'm ecstatic.
So
over the moon.
So just be happy.
I am happy.
I mean,
it's time to get back.
To me, at least, it seems like you're nitpicking that he wasn't in the lineup. And maybe him being in there yesterday, maybe you get a few more key hits. And I understand that. But be happy.
Yeah, they won the series. You can't look. I never thought they were. I thought they were going to win one game tops.
Yep.
And they won the series. Guillorme's been excellent. He's unbelievable in the field wherever you put him. And yeah, you got to put him in the lineup every day. He's been that good.
And I know we're all happy about today's win, as we should be. If you're a Mets fan listening, I would hope you're happy as well. But I just want to touch on last night's game because I can't trust Seth Lugo to color inside the line. I can't anymore. I can't take it. I understand he had one good inning, and then they threw him back out there, gave up the 2-run home run. Listen, I can't stand Seth Lugo in clutch situations anymore. I'm so excited for this All-Star break. The deadline is approaching. Add some relievers. They have to. Hopefully a healthy Trevor May will at least be a little more productive. I'm looking forward to the trade deadline.
Part of that was Peterson was left in way too long last night.
Yes.
He shouldn't have pitched Olsen. He really shouldn't have.
He was having a really good outing.
106 pitches when he gave up the home run, though.
He was great. He was great last night, except for a couple of walks and then the one pitch to Olsen. He was really good last night. I understand.
A little too long.
I understand leaving him in against the lefty, who, by the way, had struck out 5 out of his 6 at bats up until that point. I kind of understand it. I have heard the argument, and that it shouldn't have came against Olsen. I would always go. I would take the lefty versus lefty with a guy that's been striking guys out against a guy that's been striking out all season long and this series. I like that matchup. But if you want to say a batter or two before, I can't argue. I wouldn't argue. But in that situation, I want him facing Olsen. And, I'm not going to complain about it, ball and strike call, because that happens. But the at-bat before to Swanson, he struck Swanson out.
Also,
tie game.
I know they had a offensive outbreak today, but, and the lineup was not good yesterday. We talked about it.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't good today.
But here's the thing. You got to score more than one run for Peterson there. It was 2-1 by the time he got pulled. Yes, he gave up the home run. It made sense to leave him in. I think he had a really good outing. Try and get him out of it.
Yeah, they made the right decision leaving him in. Yeah, the outcome is why you're not in love with maybe the move, but you made the right move. He should have had the strikeout prior. He didn't get the strikeout, and not to mention the fact that Lugo gave up the 2-run homer. They would have lost the game no matter what. So it doesn't really make much of a difference either way.
Yeah. Not on Peterson. And listen, it just so happens Lugo gives up another 2-run shot.
Yeah, it's not necessarily on Lugo either, but I can't stand watching him anymore. I can't stand it.
He's unreliable. He's been unreliable. He'll mix in he'll mix in an outing in Chicago where he looks absolutely unhittable, and he'll be like, oh, maybe that's what he'll do. That's what he does to you. But he's unreliable. You can't trust this guy in a late inning situation. The Mets didn't really have a lot of guys yesterday anyway.
No, they didn't.
Ottavino was out. He wasn't going to be used. Diaz wasn't going to be used yesterday, so they had to go to Lugo. Obviously, we see what happens. But yesterday's on the offense. But
yeah.
I'm happy. I'm very impressed with Peterson.
Peterson was outstanding. I thought that might have been like his second, if not his best start of the year.
Could have, against that lineup, against a right-handed heavy lineup. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to a guy that I've been saying to you, Mr. Merlo, you've had Stockholm Syndrome about. And that is Francisco Lindor.
Oh my God! You're finally coming around.
He really turned it around this series.
How about some stats? How about some stats?
Go ahead.
Wrote them down.
On me.
Pause. 5 for 14 with a homer, a triple, 4 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. He's very short-handed at shortstop. He made a great play in the 4th inning with 2 guys on, up 4. Today, he made a couple other great plays throughout this series. Yeah, 341. That's all I'll say.
And even Eduardo Escobar, he had a home run today.
Yeah.
He's like Lugo, with occasionally you go, maybe he'll get hot. Then no.
Yeah. Right.
No.
That's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Escobar.
There you go.
How are you feeling going into this Cubs series? Because just the way, not even it's a rout, because you had a 4-run cushion between the game. I think you feel you could go into Chicago, win 3 out of 4.
Yeah, you want to win 3 out of 4, especially because the Braves have the Nationals again to end.
So that's most likely a sweep.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. You need to take 3 out of 4 against the Cubs. At least match what the Braves can do against the Nationals. That's what I'm asking for. 2.5 lead. That's what I want, hopefully.
And even
as it is now,
even if you lost one game, going out of the series, you'd still have a half game lead in the division. So you have even more of a cushion now. Expand on that lead against the Cubs. And, go into the All-Star break flying high.
Stroman pitches Friday for the Cubs.
Yeah, I'm not scared of Stroman.
I'm not either. I'm just saying that it's going to be awesome.
Yep, and then Scherzer is on Saturday.
Okay, cool.
You got to take 3 out of 4 here.
You have to.
Do you remember what happened last All-Star break? And then the games after the All-Star break? I don't want to PTSD people, okay? Remind people, I should say. But they had Pittsburgh. They had 7 straight against Pittsburgh. They had 4 to end the first half of the season, and then 3 right out of it.
Yeah.
And I remember Met fans going crazy. Oh, we got the Pirates. Oh, 5-2, 6-1. Don't lose a game. Mm-hmm. I remember this, and I said, I tweeted this out. I'll go back and find it. And I'm not going to, but you can if you want.
Marcus Stroman's not going to find it, unfortunately.
I said, guys, don't take this for granted. Just win these games. Okay, they're on the schedule, but don't just, put them as wins. And they didn't do that. They lost the series coming out right after the break. They split at home the 4 games. So don't take these for granted. Go into Chicago. You've got great pitchers in this matchup. Take freaking 3 out of 4, please.
If you score runs, I feel really confident that they could beat them. I mean, I know that's like a captain obvious answer, but they need to keep doing what they're doing. Like today, they scored 7 runs,
and you
keep
can
doing
trust
that.
the starting pitching. So it's as long as the offense can continue to pull through this, as long as
and you can go into Chicago, beat up on the Cubs, and get a first-hand look at maybe your next catcher.
The absolute worst thing, too, would be for Stroman to win, though, on Friday. That's even worse.
Can't let him win.
No.
You have to drop 10 on him.
If the Mets still win 3 out of 4, but the loss is to Stroman, listen, I'm still celebrating.
The standings
as a Mets
are
fan,
good, but
it's just it would be
it's a moral loss there.
He'll come on Twitter and say something. He'll definitely.
Oh, of course he will.
But yes,
kind of like if Syndergaard actually tried to pitch against the Mets, and if he beat us, we'd be in hell.
Hold on, I got to clarify something.
Yeah,
because somebody just tweeted this out. They said this guy on Fox Sports made a bad take about McNeil on the paternity list.
Okay.
He said, I don't want to be on the wrong side of this, but I hate this story because I expect my players to be there. It's a big series. You let the fans down. I don't feel that way.
No.
I'm joking around a little bit. Yeah, he should be back this weekend. There's no reason for him not to be back this weekend since he went on the list Sunday. But obviously he misses the Braves series.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous take.
It's one thing if you're Odell Beckham when you're playing in a Super Bowl over the birth of your child. That's I get that to a point. This is different. The regular season series, as big as it is, the regular season series.
It's a series.
And then Odell was still able to make it just in the hospital bed next.
That's true.
Yeah, because he recovered for his ACL. Yeah. I do want to go on your point, Anthony.
That was so casual.
Talking about the Cubs and Contreras. Yeah, it's definitely possible. You can maybe they're going to be scouting him a little bit. The other Contreras, his brother on the Braves. What his walk-up song is? You saw that today?
Yep, I noticed it. I noticed it a couple of days ago.
It's the trumpets.
No.
Yes. Yeah, it is. I was watching the game before I drove over here today, and I hear it in the background, and then Gary goes, "Wait, I know that from somewhere." And then he pretty much got into it how the Mets should try and just keep that for him if he keeps performing the way he does.
It's a trademark.
If he was not performing well, then I'd say okay. Yeah, I mean,
you can trademark it for a player.
I'll tell you this: when Mariano Rivera, not comparing the two, but when
way better,
but when he, he had Enter Sandman, nobody else had that.
Yeah,
and if you did, it'd be like a crime.
Well, that was out of respect for Mo. I feel like
right.
I agree. That's why I'm not comparing the two. One's a legend, but I get it.
One big takeaway I have here is that the Atlanta Braves, at least the people running the entertainment side of things, and even the upper management, they're very petty.
Yeah.
I have to say this was, embarrassing to a certain point. I know Cano went 2 for 3 the first game, but you're not fooling anybody by signing him and making his first appearance against the Mets.
You're not fooling him. And by the way, even if Cano had a few hits, the Mets made the right decision. It doesn't matter what Cano does against the Mets or what he does against any other team. The Mets made the right decision to move on from him.
100%.
Right, and is Cano your DH moving forward?
No.
You did. This was a ticket seller. This was a whole gimmick because the Mets are coming into town. They're the new big rival in the division.
Mike Puma compared it as a Bill Belichick move.
Yes.
I see that.
Let me add a bad Jets player that just got released last week because we're playing them this week, and let's see if we can get anything out of them.
Yeah, it's like take a flyer on the guy, and there's no meaning to it. I mean, he was raking the Myers. I don't care. He's done as a player.
And who knows? Maybe he can keep a spot there. I mean, listen, everywhere he goes, he's loved. He was with the Mets. They loved him. They were sad to see him go, even though, again, it's a move that had to happen. The Padres, in his limited time there, everybody in the locker room loved him, and I'm sure it'll happen with the Braves as well.
Yeah.
So, before we get to the New York Yankees, and
we're going to get there, right?
We're going to get there because, there's something to be said about last night.
I agree.
You called it.
I did call it.
I didn't think yesterday.
I didn't think it was going to be this game. I thought it would be today's game.
Also, you don't call something like that. We'll talk
hold on. No. You're not getting away with this. You are not getting away with this.
It's not something you want.
You are not getting away with this.
No, I'm saying.
So I think we're only going to take 1 out of 3 against.
What he's saying is you don't put it into existence. That's what he's trying to say.
No.
But you could say he did the same.
Can I speak? You don't know what I said. You don't know what I mean. Can I speak?
Go ahead.
Crap. I mean, you don't call something like that the way they lost. 3-0 up in the 9th with Clay Holmes, who's been the best closer in baseball. Nobody calls a defeat like that.
You don't call a collapse, but he was expecting that a loss could happen this series.
Yes, but
that's what he called. But a collapse towards the end of the game. Okay, fair.
Mike, you're wrong.
Now I agree
with
your point.
Mike, you're wrong.
Okay, whatever you think.
I didn't expect a collapse like Dom said. I said they were going to probably lose 1 out of the 3.
And what did they do?
And they lost 1 out of the 3.
There you go.
I didn't think it was going to be last night's game. Like I said, I thought it would have been tonight's game. That's still yet to be determined.
Wow, you thought they were going to lose to the Reds. Wow.
They did. They lost to the Reds.
I know, but you're that great of a team. You have the best record in the league. You think you're going to lose to the Reds in your own building?
It happens.
I know it happens. I know it does.
Sometimes.
But to put
look at the Orioles. They're on a 9-game winning streak. They're playing better, but they're not exactly, title contenders.
Yeah, but
they're not division. They're not going for the division.
I never thought they were going to blow that game to the Reds when they were 3-0 in the 9th inning. I thought, this game is over.
Right.
Well, when we talk about the Yankees, I'll read a stat that I have. But another guy that set the tone for this Mets series. We're going back to the Mets.
That's fine. Okay, that's fine. We went off the tracks there. I'm sorry.
They're starting pitching. I mean, we brought up Peterson before. Obviously, Scherzer, we talked about him yesterday, how great he was. And Bassett, really good today. And it makes you want to think something. The Braves lineup is a lot of home runs and a lot of strikeouts. Does this fare well for the Mets starting pitchers like DeGrom when he comes back and Scherzer like we saw in Bassett? Is this a good matchup for these Mets starting pitchers? And then obviously guys at the back end of the bullpen like Diaz, who just strikes the world out. That we saw that was a great matchup when he faced a couple of their best hitters and struck them out like it was nothing on Monday night. So I think this is the fact that they strike out. Listen, they hit a lot of home runs. They can get back into a game very quickly. We know that. But when you have strikeout guys like the Mets have, this is a good matchup for the Mets. But we saw the difference in the series, right? The Braves have the better lineup.
Yes.
The Braves have the much better bullpen. And the Mets need to, they'll add a bat, kind of even that out. They'll add some relievers, try and even that out. And the Mets starting pitching, in my opinion, is clearly it's better.
So here's my bold take, and I'm on your side here. You add a few bats, 1 or 2. You get another reliever or 2.
2 relievers.
2 relievers.
1 lefty, reliable. 1 righty, setup man.
I think you can beat the Braves in a 7-game series.
So do I.
Yeah.
Anthony, I think we beat anybody in the world in a 7-game series if the 2 guys are healthy.
You also have to remember a guy like Peterson, who had a very good outing against the Braves, could be forced into the bullpen, obviously, with all the arms coming back.
That's interesting.
You can have him be more of a more of a long reliever.
Right, but Mike, what I'm saying is, and they are obviously going to add bats at the deadline, but just going in as the team is right now, you get DeGrom back. I don't know if I'm as confident going into a 7-game series against the Braves as they are.
Yeah, right now, no.
I'm saying when they add, they can definitely beat. I think they can beat any team in the NL.
They need bats. They need to add bats. And by the way, I don't know if this is a hot take. This might be a hot take. I'm not going to say it.
No, go
I was
ahead.
going to say that.
Come on.
You got to say it now.
I was going to say the Braves are like the second best team in the National League, but they're not. I think, and I was going to say the Mets were one, but then I'm like, the Dodgers are playing so much better, and nobody's realizing, by the way, how much better the Dodgers are playing. So I won't say that. I don't think the Braves are better than the Mets at this point, but they're really good. They're a really good team. And when you talk about trade deadline acquisitions, what do the Braves need? Another arm in the pen, another depth arm. They don't need much.
They need to be more of a contact hitter in that lineup. A guy that's not a power guy, a guy that can maybe get some doubles for you. I think that's what the Braves could use.
Someone to get on base to drive in.
Yeah, and I think the Mets. I think they need a couple of bats, and I think if you are serious about winning a World Series this year, which I think the Mets are, then you need to get a couple of bats. And I think if you can get maybe two relievers, I think then you're in the conversation of being a World Series team. And I don't know who those bats are, but I think they need a couple of bats.
Well, I think they're in the conversation of being a World Series team right this second. But you want to talk about a team that, no doubt about it, can win the World Series? Like a favorite to win the World Series? There's a difference. You could be in the conversation. The Mets are in the conversation. They're the second best team in the National League.
Yeah, but you want to be like, You want to
much as to get yourself ready as much as possible for the postseason. And if the Mets do get these guys healthy, like DeGrom and other guys in the pen, like McGill, who's going to move over to the bullpen, if your rotation, DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett, and Walker's healthy, and then you add guys like McGill, Peterson to the bullpen on top of what you're already going to add at the deadline, that's a
and then
scary
Trevor
staff.
May coming back too. Again, I know everyone has their mixed feelings on Trevor May. We just have to hope that the injury towards the start of the year was really the problem. And I understand last year when he was healthy, it still wasn't the best, but it's still more experience added to that bullpen, which they're lacking right now.
Trevor May would most likely, if Trevor May did exactly what he did last season, he'd most likely be their seventh inning guy, borderline on their eighth inning guy. He would be over Lugo right now for sure. He'd be, right on the level, I think, of Drew Smith, who gives up a ton of home runs now for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the only Mets reliever I trust right now is the closer with Diaz. I mean, Ottavino, it's like it's tough.
You can't fully trust him.
It's like I have mixed feelings with him. I know I just said it as describe Trevor May, but it's like one day he's lights out, one day it's a 3-run shot.
Yeah, and I think they and that's why you need more sure things in that bullpen because 100%. There's too many guys that there's just a lot of uncertainty. I mean, Lugo, not been all that great, not been the same guy. Drew Smith hasn't been the same guy since the start of the year. It's why you need to get guys with more proven track records, and I think that's what the Mets. I think they need that going into the season, and I think now they just, it's more obvious that they need that, and I think to get a couple of bats, even when McNeil and Marte comes back, would be helpful because they were struggling with those guys. So
this is Charlie Morton after the start. Says he has a ton of respect for the Mets. I don't expect them to just fall off.
Future Met right there, Mike?
No, that guy. He might be. He may. Listen, I'll knock on wood because we're going to face him a lot. He may be done. Maybe.
Take two of Braves. If DeGrom goes to the Braves, take two pitchers from the Braves and just ruin the Braves. They'll get DeGrom, we'll ruin you too. I don't know. I'm kind of sour on DeGrom a little bit.
I for whatever reason, I like Charlie Morton. I think he's impressive pitching at this age, and
what he did in the World Series with the injury was incredible.
Right, he was never a great pitcher until late in his career.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I find him to be very interesting, and he still throws hard for whatever reason. But I like these older guys like Verlander, DeGrom, Scherzer, still pitching at the same level that they are. I like that, and Morton, same thing. So, I hope he doesn't figure it out. I hope he's actually done.
I want to point out something really quickly.
I'm in a great mood. I got a nice shirt
Not
on.
only that,
I'm
but
going out for dinner.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
What's on
slides?
What?
In slides?
No, not in slides. I'm going to change. I'm going to change the shorts too. Listen to the dilemma I'm in. So I was supposed to go out with my boss from the pizzeria and a couple other guys from work, and we were supposed to go to this wonderful restaurant in Rockville Center. You may know it, Dario's. Okay, it's a very, very big, high class Italian restaurant. My sister's birthday was on Monday, so we're going out for dinner tonight, so I cannot go with my boss. And he's paying up a bet that we made in football season, and dinner was on him. So I'm a little upset. But we're going to a nice restaurant tonight, too, in Levittown, which I love. So
Very
I'm excited.
good. Speaking about bets, Mike, I know yesterday I took the Angels' money line, and
I mean, I didn't actually take it. I didn't actually bet on it.
Bets you say on air.
Do
you think any of them?
College basketball, for the most part, I took everything. Okay. And I was obviously great with college basketball.
And he was awful with college basketball, by the way. He was awful.
I made a ton of money in college basketball season.
Mike, you got a lock for us?
Michael Merlo's Stone Cold Lock Game of the Century of the Year of the Millennium.
I mean, I wasn't really prepared.
No, but this is the guy who every Sunday morning spends a couple hours making his bets.
In mass.
During mass.
I would fade the Dodgers tonight, and I would take the Cardinals. Plus 135. Gonsolin versus Wainwright. So I would bet against Gonsolin, who's been unbelievable this season.
Gonsolin has been unbelievable.
Just the way
how I feel about that one.
The way the line's moving.
But anyway,
actually, give me more time. Give me a minute. Don't take
we'll give
the
you
Cardinals.
time.
Give me a minute. Yeah, please.
Tom, you were going to say something?
Oh no, I was just saying that Gonsolin. I'm not really a fan of that one.
You know what's funny? There was a debate about who should be starting the All-Star game for the National League. Alcantara,
anyone that says Kershaw is an idiot. I'm hearing it everywhere.
It is.
Anyone that says Kershaw is an idiot.
Anyone with a brain knows that's stupid. But
Ken Rosenthal said Clayton Kershaw.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
interesting.
think it through.
Yeah.
Oh,
It makes sense.
But between Alcantara and Gonsolin,
yes,
who are you giving the ball to?
Alcantara.
Even though it's in Los Angeles.
Yes, I mean, I get, you know.
I really don't think that should be a factor. I mean, I get it, but I don't think it should be a factor.
If he was a superstar, like a rising superstar, like Matt Harvey was in 2013, like people thought he was the next big thing, and it's for publicity. How many people outside of LA know Tony Gonsolin is besides diehard baseball fans?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We're diehard baseball fans, I'm saying. Besides people that
probably not a lot.
No one knows who he is. Alcantara is the same, but I think he's more of that rising superstar you want to get publicity to.
I got 2 picks.
Okay.
There we go.
You're welcome, by the way.
I would take the Cubs on the money line. I think the Orioles winning streak ends tonight.
Okay.
And the over in the Red Sox Rays game.
All right.
I like that one a lot better.
McClanahan pitching for the Rays, but
wait a minute.
The Rays are that team where I feel like you just can't touch. You just don't know what you're going to get. I mean, they're like the Red Sox. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get. You can either get the dominant or you're going to get like
McClanahan's been dominant all year. He's been great.
Yancy Diaz. Yeah. That's Yancy Diaz is on the Yandy. Who's on the?
I would take the
Yandy Diaz is on
the Rays. He's batting like 500 in the past week.
Wow.
Also, Anthony, I know we're not going to get to the NHL yet, but I do have kind of, not breaking news, but Flyers general manager Chuck Fletcher is going to be speaking to the media right when we get off the air at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Interesting.
So, I mean, we don't know what that means.
We couldn't clear cap space.
Exactly.
We couldn't get a player that doesn't fit our system.
For those interested in hockey, obviously the biggest free agent right now is Johnny Gaudreau. You had the Flyers. Everybody thought he was, that was going to be the clear-cut number one
Being
option.
a Flyers fan.
Yes, and that is not happening because they're not able to clear cap space. I think they didn't want to give up a first-round pick to trade away James Van Riemsdyk, all this stuff. So it doesn't seem like the Flyers are going to be the option. We'll get to it in a little bit, though. I don't want to touch too much on it.
It's all right. Even though I really don't feel bad, but, little sympathy for the Flyers fans there.
I don't know.
I don't feel sorry for them.
Come on, it's the Flyers. They have Tony DeAngelo. It's a perfect fit. It's going to be scary what they're going to do. Tony DeAngelo, go ahead and kill somebody on the ice.
I can't wait for the Rangers to just beat up on him and then have him have like a -3 against the Rangers. That'd be perfect.
Right. Big Phillies fan, was a Yankee fan. He was in New York, I believe.
D'Angelo?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Speaking about the Yankees and horribleness, going off of Tony DeAngelo, the Yankees lost 4-3 last night, and it was a tough loss. And I'm not going to go up here and start screaming, the sky is falling. It's not.
I think the sky is falling.
It sucks. It really does, because that's a winnable game, and, the guy that goes up there all the time and dominates, he pitches like a well-oiled machine. Clay Holmes implodes. And
he didn't get an out, right? He didn't get an out?
He didn't even get an out.
No.
He imploded.
And you have Wandy come in doing the best job he could he can after,
Clean up the
and you
mess.
still lose the game, and you're still the best team in baseball. I mean, Yankee fans are having meltdowns on Twitter.
What's new?
Of course they are.
What,
What's new?
Yankees Twitter, along with some parts of Rangers Twitter, are some of the most mind-numbingly stupid places on the Bird app.
The Bird app. You had a great line about Yankees Twitter a few months ago. You said you're not going to find the next Einstein on Yankees Twitter.
You're not. And listen, I kind of get you want the offense to score at least 5 runs a night, so
Yes.
you can avoid stuff like this. And you pinch hit Judge later in the game, and he strikes out.
Yeah.
You wanted to give him the and listen, I understand not starting him.
I understand too.
He's having an historic year. Take your precautions, especially if he's having these lower back problems. Take your time.
Yeah, and by the way, you should be able to beat the Reds even without Aaron Judge. So, it should never have even came down to that in the bottom of that 9th inning. Now, the big thing is, I think the story that comes out of this game is the concern for Clay Mullins. Even though I'm not there, because these stuff happen, but there's always going to be that concern until he does it in October, because he's never been in October. So until he's not there, you don't know.
I have some breaking news, not in NHL world. It's home run derby news.
Oh.
And it's similar to something that you were kind of going with yesterday. It's not O'Neal Cruz, but it is a young star, Julio Rodriguez.
I love that.
I
love that.
So we can go back to the Yankees, but I just wanted to say that because
So that makes
again,
what, 6 guys?
we kind of discussed it
That's
yesterday. Yes,
5
2 more to
National
go.
League guys, 1 American League.
But 6 out of 8 in the field.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go.
Almost
But anyways,
full. There you go.
Clay Holmes, he showed he's human, all right? And listen, everyone can have a bad moment. It was unfortunate it had to happen against the Reds. Everyone relax. Relax.
I got a stat for you.
Oh,
How fast the sky is falling.
The Yankees were 49-0 entering the 9th inning with the lead this year. The Reds were 0-49.
Wow.
Oh.
Now, add a 1.
All streaks come to an end.
Yeah.
oh, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I was just going to say, oh, wow, the Yankees lost it. But then once you added the Reds at the end, then it was like, wow.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
It is crazy. It's the same number, too.
That stings.
Listen, Holmes, he's allowed to have a bad outing. You're right. It's 2 straight. You don't love the one in Boston. You don't love the one here. Peralta, same thing. He came into a terrible situation. Peralta's been good for the Yankees this year out of that bullpen. A nice left-handed reliever. It's nice, to have one. Because you don't have Chapman, and he just sucks. But anyway,
You think?
he comes into an impossible situation, gets the first 2 outs, and I'm sitting there saying, they're going to get out of this, aren't they? I'm like, they're going to get a fly ball. He's going to strike India out, who has not been good. And no, India finds a way to put that ball in the right center field, and it's a heartbreaking loss. But
Bad teams find a way to lose.
excuse me?
Oh my God! You're the
Brain
best
fart,
team in
brain
baseball.
fart,
and
brain fart.
I was gonna say
Listen, bad teams win
it's
eventually, here and there.
What's happening?
It's like,
if only there could be a reverse button
Yeah.
for live.
it's
It
like
happens.
hey, if you listen to the radio, they say on these bet, this will cheer you up. These little bet things. It's like, well, 60% of the time, even the bad teams win. Even 60% of the time, the best team they lose. So, just go based off of that commercial, and you'll be fine.
They
You
can't
will
win
lose.
every game. That's the reality of
Yes.
it. It's
Right,
a
and
tough one to lose.
that was the basis
Yes.
of why I said not that. Oh, it's going to be
Yes.
law averages, man.
Yes.
The reason too is it's like, okay, the Yankees can have one loss against the Reds, okay, and everyone is going to be okay with that. It's just the way it happened.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Let's
If it didn't happen that way, it would be okay. They lost, whatever. We're not worried. But now Yankee fans are going to be freaking out. Clay Holmes is done. He's not this guy. Bring Chapman back in as
Let's
the closer.
talk about a positive, though, from last night. Cole, who, yes, still can't pitch against the Red Sox, has a good start.
Are we playing the Red Sox right now?
Has
playing the Reds
has
close.
a great start.
Yeah, I was wondering where that.
Yeah.
That was a shot.
I mean, put it in context, Mike.
What?
The shots.
No, I'm just saying he has not pitched good against the Red Sox. He's going to see them. Yeah, he'll see them this weekend at home.
Yep.
So, but he bounces back in a big way. 7 innings, 11 strikeouts. That's huge. Struck
Right,
out the
and
last
then
guy.
that whole stat against career against the Reds. 4.08
Yeah, that's
really good.
ERA. Please.
He pitched in the division for the Pirates at the time where the Reds were better offensively than now, and he wasn't the pitcher he was
Todd Father
now
era
back
of the
then.
Reds.
What?
Todd Father era of the Reds.
Yeah, and Joey Votto was much better than too, and they had Jay Bruce hitting home runs, whatever. But This isn't the Reds history lesson, but the point is, he was not the pitcher he is now when he played for the Pirates. No way.
He's not. He's much better.
Much better now.
I love the way he's able to dial it up to 101 last night on the last
When he
pitch.
needs it, yeah.
When he needs it, he goes, he rears back, and he gets it. Now, obviously, you want to see the better starts against the better teams, of course. But last night he did what he had to do, and you'll have a big series against the Red Sox. I shouldn't even say a big series. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
None of these games matter. I asked my friend who's a Yankee fan the other day, I'm like, what's it like playing meaningless games that don't matter whatsoever in the middle of July? Like, how does that feel? Because I want to know how that feels.
Very nice.
It's got to be nice.
The one thing, though, and I'm contradicting myself, the one thing I should say, though, you do want that one seed. So eventually you want to start, like the Mets. Like if they're in a situation where, they're going to be going for the one seed, hopefully obviously the division would have to be wrapped up, but that's not going to be the case. So the Mets aren't going to have to worry about that most likely. And the Dodgers may lock it up. But you don't worry about that really until the end of the season, the one seed. The Yankees need to worry about it right now. Because that's the only race they got. That's the only team that's close to them is the Astros, and you want to be able to have home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs.
Yeah.
How
And the
crazy
Astros
is
are
it?
3.5, I think, back.
How crazy is it to plan the postseason in July? I mean, it's great, but it's nuts to think about. It's really nuts.
What?
To plan the postseason in July.
They planned the postseason in April.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's not important. It's not right. But it's just think about Mets fans. That's so foreign to us. Like
It reminds you of like the NBA. It's like the regular season means nothing. Like you wait till the postseason.
That's how the Yankees
as
are
Anthony
now.
loves to bring up every show, little brother.
yeah.
I'm not going to bring it up today, but now that you mentioned it, very proud of little brother what he's done against the Atlanta Braves. Former World Series champions, maybe going for a back-to-back. But
Reigning World.
By the way, the
Series
Braves have, treated us like their little brother, for the past 4 years now.
Yeah,
So it's
this-
nice to get them.
Yeah, it's gonna
And listen,
fun celebration today.
a lot more games. What was it? 13 more games? 12 more games?
Yeah, about
12 more games. 12 more games against this team. So you're 4-3 on them now for the season. Gotta win the rest of them.
how was your Twitter presence last night? Or today, rather, this afternoon?
This guy that I follow that's just the unbearable, uneducated idiot that has no clue what he's talking about. Somehow has 32,000 followers, though, on Twitter. Is just posting, other sports. It's called sportstalkatlanta.com. And now he's just posting about...
Kyle Pitts fantasy value.
He's posting about the Brooklyn Nets trade, mock trade on Get Up this morning, a trade package for Josh Rojas of the Diamondbacks, and Atlanta Falcons stuff. So clearly he's okay, after that terrible loss. By the way, after saying he would be disappointed if the Braves didn't sweep the Mets.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, yeah, good.
Nah. Shut up.
Scratch.
Just shut
Go
up.
scratch.
Can I break some quick news on a Mets
Absolutely,
land?
go
Very
ahead.
minor news, but they announced another giveaway at the stadium.
Okay. Anything
So-
interesting?
I think it's interesting. I like it. So if anyone's a fan of those Funko Pop figures, they're
No, already horrible.
Let me explain this. It's kind of cool. They're collaborating with Marvel. They're doing a David Wright Captain America Funko Pop. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
That's pretty cool.
Horrible.
I kind of want it.
You know what I really hate, just on the topic of Twitter, with Michael before with the Atlanta account?
Yeah.
I really can't stand random people just tweeting out stuff about contracts because I just saw something, but I know it's not true, and I was just
Look for the check. Look for the check.
No, the check is not there.
Exactly.
Check is not there. I'm still gonna wait patiently.
Well, there's been a big troll of ESPN regarding a John Morant quote.
We're allowed to say it. I got confirmation. We're allowed to say
We
it.
got a confirmation.
I asked the boss. We can say ball sack
Sure, allowed to
sports.
say ball sack. Why wouldn't
Do
you
I
be able
gotta?
to?
No.
Okay.
Ball sack sports. That's
So-
fine.
Sports Twitter is an interesting place because you'll have, and I think the accounts that bother me the most, and this is across the sport, all four sports, you'll have these accounts that'll have like a picture of a player, like for instance, Hoodie Judge or Lafreniere for MVP. Then that's it, and
Yeah.
they just put on the blinders and. They don't like to see the grand picture, such as the Capo Caco fans on New York Rangers Twitter. And I think we'll turn it over to hockey here. But first, you are listening to WHBC Sports Talk on the Voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHBC. And as I was saying, Ranger fans have a unique obsession with Capo Caco, and you can make the argument that David Quinn ruined him, and there's some basis to that. But this is you had a good year with Gerard Gallant, and your regular season wasn't great. upper management didn't show the utmost faith with you, benching you. But, hey, at least you didn't get traded. As of right now.
I guess Chris Drury, general manager for the Rangers, is having his press conference as we speak. But he said they may still try for a low-cost bottom six center in the next few days, but they're happy with the forward group otherwise for now. That's not Patrick Kane.
It's over. The dream's over.
Well, I mean, it was
the dream's over, and it was a nice dream. It was a nice. It would be heaven to just get Panarin's line mate back and go win a cup. But I guess you got to stick with the process. If the window's open, I mean, you signed Trocheck for 7 years, $526 million. Window's open. Go for it, man.
No,
$526 million.
$5.625.
I was like, who is this guy and why is he being paid this much
it's
money?
as we talked about yesterday. For those who didn't listen, I'll explain it again. We were saying just how when hockey contracts are announced, it comes in such a weird way. It's not 5 years and the price they're making over that 5 years. It's just the individual year.
AAV.
Yes. And sometimes it doesn't even equal that. Sometimes they break it down and the years don't actually... I don't know. It's confusing. Please just make it easier and say 5 years, 80 million, or whatever it's going to be.
Let us divide it in our calculators and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't want to... Yeah, it's a little aggravating there. But also, Pierre LeBrun doubles down that the Flyers are out on Johnny Gaudreau. So
now
he's a little more of a reliable source in the hockey media world.
Right. So. As a lot of the insiders were sleeping today. They weren't on top of the stuff as they should have been. They're not exactly the Woj.
How is that possible, by the way? Like, is it just because hockey's less of a popular sport in America?
I think it's because insiders in hockey think they know. I feel like teams would rather just put out the information themselves than go through insiders.
They also don't work for major companies like
The
ESPN
Athletic or whatever.
And The Athletic. Yeah, there's not really any big guy that's there that, because again, as we know, ESPN is covering hockey, but it's only on ESPN Plus, not on any of their live shows. Actually, NFL Live is going on right now because there's a lot of talk about in NFL Live news.
Yeah, we really need to see, all these NFL guys go on TV and talk about minicamp and Deshaun Watson, and I don't need to hear about this anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, but in terms of the Rangers and what they've done, it does sting a little bit that the players that were on that postseason run last year are not back. It's a little bit of a disappointment. I mean, Bertrand not being back, that's kind of stings a little bit the most for me. I know he got paid a lot of money with Anaheim. That's fine. And Kopp got a decent amount of money with the Red Wings, who I never thought was going to be back. But it stings a little bit. However, getting Trocheck was a good move. I like that move.
And they might be a little bit pressed, but they could still try and get Mott. As Arthur Staple just tweeted that out.
I think Trocheck is a great signing for right now and maybe the next 3 years.
Yeah.
But the longevity of it, the price that you're going to have to pay down the line, that's the only reason why I'm not a fan of it. But as we talked about yesterday, the Rangers they need to be in it for right now. This is a move that does it. You'll worry about the cap situation down the line after, hopefully, you win a cup.
Like Tampa.
And I harken back.
No, not like Tampa.
Not like you going.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, honestly, because I forgot about it. They managed to re-sign 3 of their key guys. They spent like $150 million. Where do they get this cap from? With Stamkos and Kucherov already?
LTIR.
Yeah,
cap is the myth.
Point. Cap is the myth. I thought Cap was actually real for the NHL now, but the Lightning are starting to prove that it's fake also. Cesarnik, Cirelli, and Sergachev. Sergachev was the biggest one, as it should be, but blows my mind.
I like to think about last year when the Rangers signed Barclay Goodrow and how everyone was melting down about just the term of the deal.
Yeah.
6 years. And they were like, Barclay Goodrow, it's not the piece you add right now to a rebuilding team. And, I mean, you made the conference finals. And you saw Goodrow's absence in those playoff games when he was hurt.
Yeah, you did.
So I'm of the opinion, just take it easy. We did good. We got rid of Nemeth, which was a big thing.
Yeah.
Dumping his salary because that guy was a traffic cone. Yes, we got a prospect, and I'll give you that information in a second. We had a traffic cone out there for the majority of the playoff games until Braun got out there. And Braun wasn't exactly the greatest, but he was definitely an upgrade over Nemeth.
Yep.
And the reason you brought in Nemeth was so Nils Lundqvist could be molded into your future second-pairing defenseman. down the line. And he was he just couldn't get the job. Then Braden Schneider comes up and he steals the job right away. So you did what you had to do. You got rid of Nemeth within 1 year.
Michael, what are your thoughts on Trocheck being added to the Rangers?
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I mean, come on, this is good. This is gonna put us over the edge. No, I have no clue. I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this guy in my entire life.
Wow.
I'm looking up. I didn't know this was true that Byron Buxton was batting .212, but he is.
Wow.
That's what I'm currently doing right now. But please get back.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the Rangers they're definitely a playoff team. They're definitely they're no question a playoff team. Do I worry a little bit about some regression? A little bit. I mean, look, this is just, again, it's not even really regression. It's more just, these are just facts. Like, okay, Chris Kreider had 52 goals last season. The likelihood of him getting 52 goals next year, probably unlikely.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing, but unlikely. However, I still think he'll get his 40, 30 goals, whatever, and I think they'll be able to still score goals. Now, Vetrano not being there, that's going to hurt a little bit. I wish he was back, but, that kind of, but they'll be fine.
Yeah, again, I don't think that's a deal breaker for the year that it's like, oh, Vetrano's not back, so, throw in the towel. It's over.
Right.
And I'm not saying that you're acting that way. I know you enjoyed what he brought to the Rangers, but I think you can still get that out of somebody else. Maybe not to the best level, but again, if you're a Rangers fan out there, I'm not upset. I would be more upset over losing Kopp, even though I know how much he got paid from the Red Wings, which is a huge overpay by them, even though I've liked some of their moves. But I feel like I would be more upset on losing him, although you were never going to bring him back for that price.
Actually, out of the three that we added at the deadline, Mott, Kopp, and Vetrano, I thought Mott was the priority to sign.
Yeah.
And like I said before, they're still trying to make moves here and there to try and fit Mott into their salary cap year. And then you have to remember the cap is going to go up for the next few years.
Right.
So that leaves more space down the line.
How much money is Mott even going to require? Is
two?
Okay, yeah.
Probably,
so it's not,
south of two.
Yeah, okay. It's not,
probably a 2x2.
Yeah.
Because he was effective on the penalty kill, and he was just he was a heart and soul player.
Yep. You need those.
We got Ty Emberson back from the Coyotes.
That's not bad.
Defenseman out of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Defenseman helps.
I'm sure he's happy he doesn't have to play it. Well, I mean, I don't even know if he was on the active roster, but
is it bad?
He doesn't have to play out of college.
I've noticed this, especially and just today. I think the Yankees have made me a greedy sports fan. Not only because I'm like, we got to get Benintendi for the Yankees, but even with the Rangers, we need Kane.
Greedy.
We need Kane. We need Kane. And then once I saw rumors about Arizona, I was like, we're getting Chychrun. We're getting him.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Rangers are not going to go, and I guess you could kind of say they did with Trocheck, but overall, they're not going to go out and just overspend for Patrick Kane. They're not going to do that. I mean, like, they were never going to.
And my thought was at least you get him at 50% retained.
Yeah, I mean,
you get him because I think he could still score 30 goals for the next two seasons.
He could, yeah.
I think it also depends on where your team that you're rooting for, though, sits. Because for a Yankees-Rangers fan, of course you're going to want them to get the best players available because they're having some really good years and they have a chance to close in on that championship. So it depends. Like Rangers a couple of years ago, you're not going to be rooting if Patrick Kane's available. I mean, it's still Patrick Kane, so maybe it's a bad example. But I don't know if you're going to be so heavy in wanting him and the cap he's going to need to have when the Rangers aren't that good and they're not in a position to win.
Right,
but right now I understand it because it's win now. You need to go into it. You were so close to getting just to the Stanley Cup.
My greed is like I see Arizona. I think we're getting the big splash. I mean, we were basically at the gates of the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
So when I see Arizona, I go, we're getting Chychrun. Whatever, however the hell you say his last name.
Yeah, I don't know.
From Florida too.
People know what you're talking about, though.
But two more moves. Actually, three more things on the Rangers here. I really like the Trocheck upgrade because he's better on the defensive side on the puck, and he wins faceoffs, which was a big thing even for 2 years. And even the good news, the Strome 6x6 is not coming, so I'm very happy about that.
Yeah,
he is still out on the market.
Out of all the players they didn't bring back, Strome, I was the least disappointed with. I didn't care for Strome. I look, he made a career with the Rangers, or like at least got better in his career.
Yeah,
with
and
the
he made an
Rangers.
impact with the roster.
Yeah, so like for him, I kind of feel a little bit bad for because it seemed like this was his most success. However, you were never overpaying for Strome, and if you did, it would be really bad.
Listen, I'm sure it's going to hurt him a little bit to not be back with his teammates with the Rangers, but then once he sees the paycheck that comes in for the way he played, he's going to be happy. No matter what team he's on, unless it's, I don't know, San Jose.
Yeah,
that'd be a pretty bad spot to go.
Right. And interesting thing by Drury right here on Capo Caco. We think the world of him, and we want him to be here for a long, long time.
So you should have played him.
Yeah,
Should have played him.
Doesn't that kind of seem?
I mean, come on.
It is odd now that,
Backtracking a little
especially
bit
with the
from-
whole Patrick Kane rumors, and that's another right wing, and you have a logjam at the right wing.
You know what's going to happen is that you're coddling him for now, and then like tomorrow it's like, nah, we don't even like you. We're going to move on. I'm not saying that's going to happen.
Right, and he's
but
been
like,
through a lot of mixed messages, considering the absolute insanity of the David Quinn era.
He could be setting himself up, too, for a bad situation there. I mean,
Sure.
you would think Kako could be involved in that Kane trade.
Right.
You think about the direction the Blackhawks are going in. They're going for this full rebuild, even though they paid Seth Jones everything last year. But you would think Kako would be involved in that
Kako's
trade. It would
out
make
at
sense.
music festivals with, fashion models on his show, pounding beer. So maybe that's the leap right there. That's what he needed.
They have to get the Rangers. To me, what I hope they score goals this year, but they also got to get a little bit tougher defensively to play because last year Shesterkin had to do a lot for them. You can't rely on that.
Right, and it leads me to think that Jones is going to take the third pairing spot, which would be.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a very offensive.
Yeah,
an offensive defense right there.
Yeah, I hope they gotta get a little bit tougher defensively for sure. And look, you wonder because Ryan Reeves, could you move him for something? I mean, I know Reeves made some type of impact with physical. And look, the reason why they got guys like Reeves and Goudreau is because the Tom Wilson thing. That was a big part of why they've done this. Because they were not, when David Quinn was the coach, they were just soft. They never fought back. They were just, and that's why you got guys like Goudreau and you get guys like Reeves because of those stuff. Now, is Goudreau, should he be $6 million? Probably not, but you know what? He made an impact for them. You could probably move Reeves and maybe try to offset something. I don't know.
Yeah, and they'll figure it out. One thing I want to bring up, Elliot Friedman just retweeted this, who I think is one of the better hockey analysts on Twitter. And it's just so funny because I'm just thinking about being a Flames fan right now. Because he retweeted a tweet that said, Flames general manager confirms a 1-year contract for Trevor Lewis, calls him a glue member of the team. Imagine being a Flames fan and just seeing that right now, knowing that your best player is leaving. There's no coming back from it.
Don't you know what that feels like as an Islanders fan?
Oh, that's rough. That's really mean, Matt. Wow.
No, and it's a different situation here because
Gaudreau never said he was coming back.
Yeah.
Well, no. Gaudreau said, yeah, exactly. Gaudreau is like, it's over. It's over. And there was at least hope still at that point. I don't remember that.
Okay.
Two more things on the Rangers.
Wait, you know what? To get back at him, I'm going to have to show up in a Vikings, Bears, and Lions jersey.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Oh, my. That's how he does it to you.
Listen, two more things on the Rangers, then I want to get to the... Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Throw a wrench into what we're doing here.
Way to get involved in the conversation.
I had to. That was a layup. Come on.
Two more things on the Rangers. The Rangers signed 2 Ranger killers between the pipes. Yarrow Halak.
Balls.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know why. How do you want me to phrase it? In front of the net, 2 netminders that have absolutely killed the New York Rangers for the last 2 years. Mike, is there something funny right now?
I
mean, you're red like a tomato right now.
I didn't say anything.
You've never heard me.
It's you. It's all you.
Yaroslav Halak. I never thought the day would come where he would be a New York Ranger.
I kind of find it funny, too, that we're covering Yarrow Halak before Gaudreau, too.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Gaudreau was going to the Flyers, but I guess not now.
No.
I don't feel bad for them. But
you know what? Yarrow Halak, it depends. He's not going to have to play that much, but he really has fallen off since becoming a backup. So what I do like, though, is bringing Domingue in. Yeah, he's going to be in the AHL probably, but like if Halak really is bad, you'll be able to bring him.
Do you remember Domingue, Mike?
Domingue, yes, he was the third-string goaltender for the Penguins who came in.
Very good.
He played pretty well early, but then fell off at the end, and the Rangers ended up winning the series 4-3.
See, Mike had a better answer than me. I was going to go Domingo Herman. That's where I was going to go with this.
Well, that's even worse.
I know.
Let's go to the Islanders here, as
Correct.
Things have come to a standstill on the Gaudreau front, although it seems like the New Jersey Devils are favorites.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that I want to bring up. A plus for the Islanders is that if Devils were the clear-cut favorite, as everybody says they are, you would think a deal would have happened already. It is being dragged out a bit, so you like that as an Islander fan, but it's also making you wait even longer to eventually just be crushed, as has happened many times for an Islander offseason. What I also really don't like either, and as they should be focused on Johnny Gaudreau, but I'm not hearing them in the works for anybody else at this point.
Yeah,
it's only Johnny Gaudreau. And I'm sure they're going to just focus on him. If they miss out, then the other moves will start to come. But this is big. This is big. And
you're not confident.
How could you get out? How could you lose this to the Devils?
Yeah,
the Devils, the young talent on a team I think they're going to be very good. It's just they're a couple years away.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if you're Lou Lamoriello and what is he, 80 years old? Something like that, 79?
He's close up there, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, you're probably looking at it from his perspective, like, you want to win now because you're not going to, I don't know how much longer he's going to live. That's number one.
Wow. But listen, it's also, Rick DiPietro said it on ESPN today, on ESPN Radio. He said, how long are they going to wait for Matt Barzal to actually get a, like, top talent winger? How long are you going to just waste that? You don't know if Matt Barzal is going to leave to Seattle when his contract is up that he signed last year. You don't want to put that at risk. Get a guy like Gaudreau in that makes Barzal want to stay. You just have to think about it that way. And you need to get this big time free agent. I can't even say how disappointing it would be to not land this guy.
But why are they trying to put all their eggs in the basket? Like, try to be like, try to get anybody out there. Like, try to open-minded. Don't just try one player.
It used to be the arena situation. That's why free agents didn't want to come, or that they couldn't give them the money. Listen, they have that. They have those two things, and they have a beautiful new arena. That player,
I don't get it's. I just. Look, you move on from Trotz. Now you have to. The fact that you moved on from Trotz, that made no sense to begin with. However, now you have to prove that, you know what, we're going to fix this now and not make excuses. Because last year it was always like the road trip. It was COVID. Those excuses are now over.
100%. I mean,
Though you have a new coach now, and guess what? This is how I will end it. If Lane Lambert, who I think will be a good coach, if he falls on his face, that's on Lou. That is squarely on him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the whole entire Islanders season, in my opinion, goes on Lane Lambert and being this coach that everybody predicts him to be. Devils and Islanders, they're the front runners. There's been no other team involved other than the Flyers, but it seems like they're out now. It's what's being reported. You have to get them.
By the way, I mean, you have to do it, even just on the Barzal principle of it, because he's your offense. I mean, Brock Nelson's very good.
Yeah, but
Lee got hurt halfway.
He plays the same position too. He's at center. Lee, I like maybe to still be on the top line, put him at right wing with the two of them, sure. But Lee is someone you could put somewhere else. I don't know. I can't rely on Lee to be that guy anymore.
Either, hold on. Breaking news. Big news. The Yankees have released Greg Bird from his minor league contract.
God.
That's how we're going to end the show. That's how we're going to end the show today.
What about Charlie Montoyo getting fired as the Blue Jays
who cares?
manager?
We won the division.
Edmonton Oilers finally got their goalie, Jack Campbell. That's the only thing I wanted to bring up.
Claude Giroux is also an idiot for shrinking his chances of getting at the cup. But regardless, from Michael Merlo, Dominic Arbolino, Ross Levine, Matt Leonard, I'm Anthony Deus saying good night, New York, wherever you are.
The views expressed on air are not necessarily those of WHPC, its management, or Nassau Community College. Responsible opposing viewpoints will be considered by emailing them to whpc@ncc.edu or by mail at WHPC 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York 11530. Thanks for listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.